Yeah, we have 6 bunkhouse rooms designed differently, depicting folks that were significant to the area. Number 1 is the cowboy room, then we have the pioneer room, the saloon girl room, the warrior, the hunter, and the caballero. You maybe have seen the movie or talked about the notion of lonesome dove, driving cattle out of South Texas to Montana. Well, that was actually real. I'm not saying the movie was a documentary, but what they depicted was, and in fact, those trails used to come right through here. There's a ranch down the way here that a very young man in his late teens homesteaded on his second trip back through here from South Texas. I think that's incredibly unique. There's my son Nick, I was talking about him earlier. The 3rd generation. And this is kind of self-explanatory. This is where most of the folks eat. But in the summertime, we have people sitting outside or in the saloon or in here. You can sit wherever you'd like. Established almost immediately. Whiskey, the tradition of whiskey continues, and it's nothing magical. It's just that whiskey travels better than beer does. Tended to be a lot of mail order folks. Mail order brides were very common here. But the saloon girls, or the prostitutes, didn't necessarily come out here looking to be a prostitute. That wasn't their life goal, but they had to support themselves in some fashion. I personally attribute them to help civilize the men that were here. Men that were frontier pioneers at that time really had no notion of much other than food and sex. And it was, I think, the women that cleaned them up. The guy sitting out here in his early 20s, putting an ad in an Eastern paper, or maybe even a European paper that says, not only do I have an all-wood cabin, I don't live in a hole in the ground out here, but I also have flat walls that you can slide a hutch up to or a bed up to and not hit your head or those kind of things. I think this was a nest specifically designed to attract a female. Not only trying to depict a general store, but also a gift shop, clearly. What we try to do here is have stuff that maybe not a lot of the shops in Colorado and other Nebraskas, we try to have very unique stuff. A lot of times local stuff. The rules for a teacher were very strict. No dating, no carousing, no drinking, no smoking. They would be responsible for getting here early, lighting the fire, and tending to kids anywhere really from about 4 years old up to 20 years old, because not everybody came to school all the time, all year long. Well, her name was Mary Saxton Percunery, if I'm saying that correctly. And she was a widow gal in Iowa who had 6 kids, and she loaded them into a wagon and came out here looking for a ranch and a husband and found, I don't think I'd like to load 6 kids in a minivan right now and bring them. Homestead cabin that we've taken apart here as a family and recreated and reassembled. This is a sheriff's office. That would have been one of the first after they got the communities established. A lot of towns were lawless, and as they could afford it and the governor would appoint, some sort of law enforcement would have been in place. These are very common of what you would have seen out in this part of the country. These would have not been used to ferry homesteaders out here. The wagons are too narrow. These would have been used for agriculture purposes, hauling grain, that kind of stuff. All the stuff that we have here, we try to, as my dad said, recreate as best we can in its natural environment.